Hey guys, what's up? Tyler here, and Melissa's behind the camera. We're having another how-to video for you here today. So we're out here at the water, and today we're going to work on something that for some of you it might be very easy, and you guys might have been doing this for a long time, but for others it might be something that you can add to your repertoire that might help you catch a fish. So what we're going to kind of work on today is short cast situations, alright? That might sound stupid, like you might be thinking, okay, why would I need to cast, like, you know, short or whatever? Well, you'd be surprised. You know, how many times are you fishing up close to a dock or lily pads or a tree or something like that, and you don't want to have to cast super far, and it's kind of an awkward range where you don't want to have to cast overhand, but at the same time, you got to have a way to be able to, you know, get a lure in there. So we're going to show you two methods that are great for short cast situations, and they're actually pretty easy to, you know, figure out once you practice them for a little while, even though it might look a little crazy here on the water today. But like I said, if you practice them, you can learn these methods. So first thing I'm going to talk about is called pitching, and then Melissa's going to talk to you guys about skipping. Alright, so I'm going to talk to you first of all about pitching, okay? Like I said, this is a short cast situation. This is something you're going to use when you're not necessarily trying to get underneath something, but you're just trying to get to, you know, an object of some sort, okay? And I'm going to first of all demonstrate, and then I'll go back and explain, you know, how you're going to do this. But really all it is you got your lure in your hand, and you're just pitching it like that to wherever you're going to go. So now I'm going to go into how exactly you do this, okay? Okay guys, so the first thing I'm going to explain is how you want to hold the lure in your hand. Okay, first thing you want to do is don't hold onto it very tight, okay? You don't need to hold onto it like with a death grip or pull tension on the line or anything like that. You just got to hold it so there's a little bit of tension, so it's not slack, but just a little bit of tension in your line, okay? You don't, like I said, you don't need it really tight, and you don't want it super loose, and like I said, you don't have to squeeze the lure really hard. The other big thing with holding onto the lure is make sure the hook is not in the way of your hand. Alright, you don't want the hook by your hand, because if it goes through and it's this way, for example, it's going to jab and catch you right in the hand, and that's not going to feel good. So make sure the hook's away from your hand. This is just a little jig I'm throwing here. I kind of just pinch it up here at the top and keep the rest of my fingers out of the way. And then that's pretty simple. And if you're using a casting setup, you're just going to, you don't have to have your magnet super loose. I have mine about right in between or whatever. You'll find that happy medium once you play around with it. And all you got to really do is just, you know, you kind of keep your thumb on the bail so it doesn't get going too fast. But, you know, you can also loosen your thumb up on the bail if you want it to go a little bit further. Hopefully that makes sense. You know, you kind of just play it by how, you know, the thing's traveling through the air, more or less, is what I do. And then as far as how far you want your line down, really you want your line about right by your other hand on the reel. So however far it is down to the reel, that's about where you want your line to set up at, where you have your other hand, if that makes sense there. And then all you're really going to do, like I said, you got the grip, you're ready to go here, open your bail on your bait caster, keep your thumb on the line, and then this is the part you got to practice, is the release point. You got to find that happy medium of when you want to let go. So you're holding on here, okay, and then I'm just letting go. All you got to do is those steps there, and then you're just going to pitch it out there. Now, when you're in the act of pitching, you're going to use your rod tip to guide where you want that lure to go, okay? So if I'm trying to put it at that, you know, somewhere out by that weed pile out there, which is a little bit far, but if I was trying to go that direction out there, I'm going to just guide that rod tip right up there with the lure. So it's going to look like this. Rod tip's going to go up, and then once it starts getting on point, I'm going to point it right back at the area where I'm trying to target, okay? I'm going to pause, and I'm going to move over here for a minute. I'm going to show you how to use it kind of in a tight quarter situation. Alright guys, so we're going to work right here. I got a little channel wall. I know we're just on shore, but this is kind of just for demonstration. I got that little pocket right there in the weeds up by the part of the channel wall that's going out towards the water. It's not going to be that way, just so you know. Anyway, I'm going to aim for that little pocket right there, okay? And like I said, this is how you practice your accuracy. You don't have to start with yourself in super hard situations. Just work on easy stuff like this, or even if you're in your yard, put something out in the yard and practice on pitching to that. Anyway, I'm going to show you right here, so I'm going to try to get it in this little area right here. You know, let's say that's what I want to target with the fish. Boom, right there. Okay? I adjusted that throughout the air with my hands to make sure it didn't go too far past it. And then I also, like I was telling you with the rod tip, guided it right towards it. Alright guys, so this is switching a spinning rod here. This is actually Melissa's, not mine. So the reel's on backwards for me, but oh well. So I just want to show you the spinning rod, because you can do it with a spinning rod too. Let me get a little bit closer. Right about there. Okay. And then all it is just like if you're overhand casting, you can grab the line there with your finger, okay, grab the bait again, so you're not going to get hit by the hook, but you're going to hold that tension the exact same way. And again, this is the same thing. You got to just work on your release point, but this is going to be the same thing right here. It's just like overhand casting, just you're doing it underhand, basically. So again, if I'm pitching out this way, all the technique's the exact same. It's just a little bit different because I'm using this instead of a casting reel. But same idea. I actually bombed that one. But last thing with this is if you're trying to slow it down, you know, like if you did cast too far, you can grab the line a little bit with your finger to slow it down while it's in the air as well. But I like pitching a little bit more with a casting reel. It's definitely easier, but you can do it with a spinning rod if you want to as well. So like I said, that's a great technique to use if you're in some sort of situation, you know, like I'm trying to get the lure into that little opening right there. It's a great technique to use. Might seem a little bit difficult at first, but I promise you, if you practice, you can get it down, and it's a great technique to use. We're going to switch over. I'm going to grab the camera. Melissa's going to explain to you how to skip.
Okay guys, I'm going to show you how to skip. Right now I'm using a spinning rod and a wacky rig. So unlike the pitching, you're not going to hold the bait down here because you're going to do it right off the tip. So I'm going to reel and give me about a foot to 8 inches of line there. And I like to do this motion, the donut. It's really, I don't know what it's called, but I call it the donut. And you're just gonna, basically you just swing it like this and use the momentum to cast and skip somewhere. You're gonna use skipping a lot when you're trolling along shore and you come up to a dock that you want to skip, that you want to cast under, you want to get a fish under. You're gonna just come up to it and skip right under it. It's perfect for that. Perfect for trees, pitching under or casting under trees. It really avoids getting snagged up high in trees, and you can usually get it nice and clean underneath. I'm not a pro. I know you see on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, everything, people just like do like 100 skips across the top of the surface. I'm not that person. I'm not using a good bait for that. Okay guys, I'm obviously not a pro. I'm not going to be casting this and skipping it 100 times right across the surface. Probably get 4 or 5 if I'm lucky, but you just need to get under there and try to get it as parallel with the surface of the water as you can. That's the goal, and to get right under there. So my first cast, I'm gonna just kind of go out into the water a little bit, and I'm gonna show you guys that kind of donut motion, get that momentum swinging, and kind of skip it right along the surface. It's all about that release point, just like Tyler said with the pitching. You just want to release it right there where it's kind of just gonna keep swinging right along with the surface of the water. So I'm gonna start here. I'm just gonna kind of skip it out into the water. I think I'm good at it. So lastly, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to cast under the tree down here. It's gonna be a little bit hard for you guys to see because we're right along shore, but we're gonna try our best. To conclude after that video, I'm just gonna want to say the most important thing, remember, is to get that momentum swinging. It doesn't have to be perfect, just get it under there, get that bait moving parallel across the surface of the water, and try to get it under that dock or whatever you're trying to cast under. You want me to do it more under? Okay, and then to wrap things up, the same concept with a bait caster, except kind of like what Tyler said, you're going to control that all with your thumb in your hand instead of with your pointer finger on the line. So that wraps up this video for pitching and skipping. We're gonna try to get some more videos up before the winter ice season comes and hunting season comes. But if not, we'll catch you in the blind.